Alright, in this video we're going to talk about getting ready to play the guitar. So that's going to be your sitting position, your left hand position, or the hand that plays the neck, your right hand position, and how to hold a pick. So first let's talk about how you sit when you play guitar. You want to have your feet flat on the floor, and you want to feel the support from the ground up. Your feet up through your legs, into your hips and sit bones, and then a nice straight back. So let's get a side view of this. Okay, so here's a side view. You can see my feet are on the floor. If I was sitting in a chair that had a back to it, I wouldn't be using the backrest. I would not be leaning back. I would be sitting in the forward third of my chair. You don't want to have this kind of posture when you're playing guitar. You might be able to get away with playing some things with bad posture at first, but when you get into more advanced techniques and skill sets later on, it's going to really pay off if you start playing guitar with good foundation and good posture right now. So here's the other side, and once again I'll just say feet flat on the floor, and you feel the support up through your legs into your sit bones. Everything's nice and relaxed but strong. Nice straight back. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and make sure that the strap on your guitar is not hanging way down here. What I see a lot of the time is I'll see students with their straps really loose, and then they'll be leaning down into their guitar like this to try and play it. You are the boss of your guitar. You're going to bring your guitar up to you with the strap, just like this. Okay, so as far as where to place your guitar, you can see I have mine between my legs here like this. This is technically the proper way to hold a guitar if you were like a classically trained musician, but most people learn to play like this. And I'm not going to say that that's necessarily wrong. Sometimes I play like this. Lately I've been playing like this a lot more. Just makes me feel like I have a little more control over the guitar. I can kind of adjust where it sits with my legs and kind of just barely squeeze it a little bit and just help keep everything nice and supported. Between my strap, resting in between my legs like this. I think this is the better way to go, but if you play like this, it's not necessarily wrong. Okay, so there is the sitting position. Now let's talk about our left hand position. So with your left hand, you can take your thumb, and I should say something about left-handed guitarists right now. If you're just now starting out playing guitar and you're left-handed, I would recommend learning to play guitar right-handed, since you have to develop all the skills anyways, which means your left hand is going to be the hand on the neck, your right hand will be holding the pick. If you are dead set on playing a left-handed guitar, go ahead and take everything I say here and just switch it between your hands. All the concepts and the positions and things like that still apply the same. So let's take a look at our left hand here. We're going to take our thumb, place it right here on the back of the neck like this. You don't want it angled like that. You certainly don't want it angled like that. It's not necessarily going to be straight up and down all the time either. It's going to kind of come and just rest comfortably at a slight angle like this. Okay, and then you're going to take your fingers and just wrap them around and rest them on the neck, like so. Okay, it's really important that you keep some space in your hand right here. When you have this space in your hand, it allows you to use these muscles in your thumb to help press the notes down on your neck and help squeeze. That's another common thing with most beginning guitarists is they find, especially with acoustic guitar, which is what I recommend you start with, it's hard to press the frets down, and especially when you're playing chords, it can be really hard to get enough tension on the neck to get the notes to sound out. So if you have this space in your hand like that, you can use these muscles in your hand to help you press down on the frets. So with your fingers over here, you're keeping the space in your hand, right? You want to always have these strong bridges. I call them bridges. If these are bridges, this is slides, right? That's not what you want. You want to keep strong bridges, no slides. Okay? And you're going to want to play on the very edge of your fingers. I think a lot of times when I say this to students, they move their fingers a little bit, but when I say the edge of your finger, I really mean the edge of your finger. So I'll show you where the indentation on my finger would be if I'm playing here. So as you can see, it is right up there by my finger now. That indentation is right on the very edge of my finger. That's where you want to be plucking the neck. That's where you want to be placing your fingers on the frets. So you got your thumb on the back. You're going to go ahead and wrap your fingers around and just try to place one finger on each fret. Now you're probably going to find that it's really hard to get your hand to kind of open up like this. One common thing that you might be doing is trying to keep your fingers in line this way, right? But you actually want to allow them to rock back like that. So I'll show you that again. This is really uncomfortable for your wrist. It puts it at a very awkward angle. If you go ahead and allow your fingers to angle back like this, and you're actually playing the guitar almost, especially with your first finger, with the corner of your finger rather than right on the center line of your finger, right? So allow your fingers to rock back, and that way your wrist can be in a more natural and comfortable position. Okay, so you're on the edge of your fingers. Go ahead and give each finger to a fret. If you can't do that right away, that's okay. Let them fall back a little bit, but just be sure they're all right on the edge there. Okay, we'll get into some playing exercises and some warm-ups here in the next couple of videos, but for now, just practice this hand position. You got the space, thumb on the back of the neck, and you're on the very edge of your fingers, keeping strong bridges. Okay, so there's your left hand position. Now let's talk about your right hand position and how to hold a pick. So, you're going to take your pick, right? If you have vertical and horizontal lines on your pick, or just imagine that, take your thumb. Your thumb is that vertical line, okay? And then you're going to take your first finger and just wrap it on almost like the way you hold a pencil. But you're not going to use these other fingers to help hold the pick. You can either clench them in like that. Don't clench hard. You want to stay nice and relaxed. But you can either let them fold in or you can keep them out. Neither of those are necessarily wrong, but I do think it's better to start with your fingers out because later on you can use these to do different kind of things with hybrid picking and things like this. So if you see down here, my guitar's kind of out of tune. Sorry about that, but I can use these fingers to pluck the strings, but I'm only holding my pick with two fingers. Oftentimes I'll see students try to hold the pick like this, where it's kind of vertical on your thumb, and then they point their hand down like this. That's not the way you want to do it. Go right across the pick with your thumb, grip it like a pencil, and then you can see my arm is nice and straight in a natural position. And when I go to bring my arm to the guitar, it's already really comfortable and ready to play. Now, you don't want to be pressing down against the strings really hard when you're picking. You can rest the corner of your palm on the bridge, but there are some folks that'll tell you that that's not as fast as letting your hand float. There's various things that go into picking that we'll talk about later on, but either allow your hand to float above the guitar like this. There's space in between my bridge and my wrist here, or just gently rest the corner of your palm on the bridge there. Okay, so there's your right hand position, holding the pick and then just naturally bring it down here. All right. I think that does it for left hand and right hand position. Now let's talk about how to tune your guitar with a tuner. So the first thing you need to do is look at your tuning pegs up here. I need you to figure out which direction you turn your tuning pegs to either lower or raise the pitch, right? So when we're talking about pitch, we're talking about how high or how low the sound of your string is. Okay, so if this is a high sound, then this is a low sound, right? So if you get the concept of high versus low, go ahead and pick one of your tuning knobs. If you have them on both sides, you're going to be turning them in slightly sort of different directions depending on which side of the headstock you're on. But you're going to go ahead and just pick a string. And you notice when I turned it that way, the pitch went up. When I turn it this way, the pitch goes down, right? So figure that out for all of your strings. It should be standard on every guitar, but if your guitar is strung wrong, if something is weird with your tuning pegs, it might be different, and it's best to just go through and get familiar with which direction you need to turn your tuning pegs. So on this side, that brings the pitch up, that brings the pitch down. So once you figure out which direction you need to turn your tuning pegs, you're ready to go ahead and grab a tuner and tune your guitar. Let's do that next. Alright, so the two main things you need to think about when you're tuning your guitar are the musical alphabet and pitch, or high versus low sounds, right? So your musical alphabet, goes from A through G, and once you get to G and you keep going higher up the keyboard or higher up your fretboard, you just repeat back to A. So if you're going up, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and just keeps going like that. If you're going down, it's going to go G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, and it just keeps going lower like that. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and just tune my guitar. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the tuner, and I have a couple strings that are just way out so that you can see there's a couple there. That's where my guitar is at, so if your guitar sounds like that, hopefully we can change that. Let's see what happens here. So remember, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. E, A, D, G, B, E. Those are the names of your strings. So let's start with a low E string. This is Eddie. Okay, so it looks like... Oh, did my tuner shut off? Oh, I just need to turn my volume up. Make sure your volume is up. Okay, here we go. So it looks like my E string is just a little bit sharp. We're going to bring that down with really small adjustments with our tuning peg until it's right there in the green. And what I say by bring it down is I mean lower the pitch of the note until it's right in the green on 440. So there's an in tune E. Now let's go to our A string. This is Eddie 8. This is A. Here we go. Alright, so let's see what that says on our tuner. I have to look because I'm looking at my phone. So it looks like it says E actually. Now, we just did the E string, and we know that that's lower than A, so we know that we have to tune our string up until it says A. Tune our string up, raise the pitch up is what I meant to say there. So, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, let's see what that says. So we raise the pitch because E comes before A, if you think about it, E, F, G, A, right? So E came before A because we repeat back to A after G, sorry. So let's take a look here. Oh, I'll leave that propped up for y'all. And it's saying we are on a G now. So G still comes before A because at G, when we keep going higher, we get to A, right? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So we need to keep raising the pitch up until it hits A. Let's try it. Okay, it looks like we are in A zone now. Yep. Now let's go ahead and make smaller adjustments until it's right there in the green on 440. So you'll notice that I'm letting my string ring as I turn the tuning peg. And you can see right here, we're just about there. I'm making small adjustments, and there we are. So the reason that I let the string ring while I turn it, and I think that's the most common mistake that people make when they first start tuning, is they just pluck it over and over again. You want to let it ring so that you can see the tuner even out and you can see which direction you're changing the pitch as you move your tuning pegs. It makes the process go a lot faster than just plucking over and over again and trying to get close. It lets the tuner even out on you. So let's go ahead and move to the D string now. This is Dynamite. Okay, and it looks like we're pretty close, just a little bit flat, so we're going to make really small adjustments until we get right into 440, just like that. If you need to find which tuning peg belongs to the string, just follow it up with your finger and you can see right where it matches up to there. So let's go to G now. And it sounds like that is way sharp. Let's see what it says on the tuner. So it's saying A, right? It's really sharp and it's an A. We want that to say G, right? So think about your musical alphabet. A comes after G, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G goes up to A. So if we're at an A, we need to come down to a G. So we need to lower the pitch until our tuner says G and matches up with the name of the string. This is good, or the G string. So we're way sharp. Now it says G, but we're still pretty sharp. Let's lower it down. Making smaller adjustments now as we get closer, letting it ring. we are, right in the green. There we go. Now let's go to the B string. Looks like that's a bit flat, so let's raise it up. Raise the pitch, right, by turning our tuning peg. Alright, we're going to keep bringing that up. And there we are, right at the center line. Just a bit sharp on that one. Yep, there we go. Okay, and now finally the high E string. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. This is the high E string. Looks like it's a bit sharp, so we're going to bring it down. Very small adjustments. Letting it ring while we adjust. And there we are, right in tune. So that's how you tune your guitar with a tuner. Say that 10 times fast. I've said it like 40 times today filming this video. Anyways, so yeah, just remember your musical alphabet and think about whether or not you need to raise the pitch up or lower it, right? If it's high, if it's on the sharp side, that means we need to bring it down to the middle. If it's on the low side, we need to bring it up to the middle. All right, I think we're ready to start playing now. We're going to get into some tab reading. So keep on plucking, get your guitars tuned up, and follow me over to the next video.